Hey, so I haven't made a decent Smash Ultimate vid in like 7 months, so...
I think we can all believe that the 5 DLC fighters that are coming our way aren't going to be the only DLC characters we get for the entirety of Ultimate's lifetime. What with Nintendo planning on supporting this console for 7 to 10 years, it's safe to assume the Smash game we play for the next decade won't stop at 5 characters on the first year of its existence. Now, that leaves the question, what characters might we get? So far, the DLC confirmed are the 3rd most common Mario enemy and a character from a niche JRPG that had no relation to the Switch in the first place. Unless you count this, but we don't talk about that. So it's safe to assume the DLC lineup will be much more open and significantly better than Smash 4, since veteran DLC also can't exist. So here's a few characters I would want to see put into Smash. No, this is not ordered, and no, this is not a fact. And yes, people are going to hate me for a few of these. Specifically... Yeah, I know we have too many of them, but my list, my rules. So a lot of people are probably going to hate me for choosing this character, but yeah, I really think Hector would be pretty cool in Smash. There are a lot of characters that I would really want to see from the Eleb era of Fire Emblem. I think Florina and Marcus would be really unique as characters who ride on horses, with Marcus always having Impact Run and Florina taking significant amounts of damage to bows or guns, but the fact that they aren't main character lords takes them off the list of potential Fire Emblem characters for Smash. Hector, however, is a lord, and a unique one at that. Now, many people are probably going to say we don't need any more Fire Emblem characters in the franchise, mostly because all of them are either sword fighters, the same thing reprinted 1,000 times, or a virus that must be eradicated immediately. Hector, however, is actually significantly different to every other lord in the franchise. The Fire Emblem characters we have so far all use swords, magic, both, or a chainsaw that can also turn into a lance and an energy ball at the same time. Hector, however, uses an axe, and I think the attributes of an axe in Fire Emblem can actually be translated really well into Smash. Axes in Fire Emblem are incredibly strong, but that strength comes with the consequence of not being very accurate. So the way I see it, Hector could be based on hard reads and small combos with hard punishes, like Ganondorf. Along with this, he'd be very heavy, as he's the first armored lord in the Fire Emblem franchise. However, since armored units are generally weak against magic, he takes more damage to projectiles than anything else. I'm not going to go too in-depth on his moveset, since I've already done that with his general attributes, but I will think up some specials for him to use. Neutral B would be a chargeable swipe with his silver axe, the strongest basic axe in his game. Side B would be a swing with his hand axe, the most common projectile axe in Fire Emblem Blazing Sword. Down B would be the Devil's Axe, a move that does a lot of damage when it hits, but when attacking it has a 30% chance to inflict damage onto Hector himself if the move connects. And up B would be his Wolf Bale, which would be similar to Cloud's Climb Hazard, except instead of having a spike, it would have some horizontal distance and massive shield breaking power, since his Wolf Bale is super effective against armored units. And his final smash would be Armad's, his signature divine weapon that he used to slay dragons in Fire Emblem Blazing Sword. And with all these ideas, I think Hector would potentially be the most unique Fire Emblem character in Super Smash Bros. And speaking of unique characters... Y'all ever played Dr. Robotnik's Mean Bean Machine or Kirby's Avalanche without realizing it's just a reskin of a puzzle game about anime girls? Arle's a weird choice because most people who we've even heard of Puyo don't know about the individual characters. It's not that popular of a franchise, but it did gain some traction with Puyo Tetris on the Switch and PC. But moving on, if she ever does get in, I think she could potentially be one of the most unique characters in Smash. Picking a Smash character from a puzzle game franchise is difficult, but from the way Puyo does its puzzles, it can be worked through very easily. In Puyo, characters initiate a voice clip anytime they clear a Puyo chain, and it changes with how long the chain is continued. Fortunately for us, since Arle is a mage, her voice clips are just magic attacks. That shouldn't be too hard to translate into specials. Neutral B would be... Fire! Just a generic fireball attack, either similar to Mario and Luigi, or maybe it could be like Bowser's old custom Neutral B in Smash 4. Up B would be... This is the closest I'm ever going to get to having Frozone in Smash. It would just be Squirtle's up B with ice. Maybe it would have a slight chance to freeze the opponent. Side B would be... I don't know what this move will do, so let's just leave it up to imagination. And down B would be... This would just be Mewtwo's down B. Her smash attacks would probably be similar to Pac-Man, but with different Puyo chain shapes, and her final smash would be a signature move by ON. This move also doesn't have much to go off of, so I'm just going to assume she Spirit Bombs you with flowers.
Hey, you can't put her on the list. She's a spirit, you dumb fuck.
Yeah, well, if they already have her as a spirit, maybe it won't be much trouble making her a player spirit, and it really won't be much trouble replacing her in World of Light. Shantae and the Pirate's Curse is my favorite indie game of all time. Granted, it's the only indie game I've ever played, but it's still really good. And after playing it and seeing how Shantae plays, I really do think she would have a great moveset in Smash. I'm not going to make it based on her transformations because I don't think it could be translated well into a fighting game like Smash, so I'll leave it to her items and pirate gear. Jab and tilts would be her hair whip, which changes in length, longevity, and strength depending on which normal you use. Neutral B would be Flintlock Pistol, which would just fire a small bullet. Side B would be Risky's Boots, a move that can charge when moving left or right and would ram into your opponents. Down B would be Monster Milk, and would actually be similar to the Special Flag, where she slowly drink her milk, and if she finishes, she gets significantly more kill power, but she's vulnerable to any and all attacks during the animation. And up B would be her cannon, which would propel herself into the air 3 times. And then down air could just be her Shimtar. Point being, I think just from the items she uses in Pirate's Curse, she would have a great moveset in Smash.
Yeah, too bad she's an indie character who's never getting in.
Okay, so I may have been exaggerating a little bit with how obscure Arle is. I'm pretty sure less than 5% of the people watching this video know who this is. Dynamite Headdy was a game on the Sega Genesis about a yellow-headed Rayman who had to defeat puppets from Armageddon and slavery, and murdering the Sega president. Regardless, the game's pretty good. Headdy would just be a zoner, similar to something like Simon or Richter, but instead of one long hitbox, it would just be a head boomerang. And his specials would be his power-ups in his games. I don't really have a good idea of how his specials would work with those power-ups, because they don't translate too well into a platform fighter, but then again, I just want to see him get some representation in Smash, or just his own game.
Can y'all give him a new game? It's been like 25 years.
Now, you may remember me saying there was one exception to me not ordering any Smash characters, and that's because there's one character that I want more than any other. A character many have heard me say is my favorite character, whether through streams of mine or through general conversations, and that character is Toad. Okay, so I was expecting the new unique Mario character to be Toad. We beat the Waluigi army in the Battle of E3, and Daisy's an Echo Fighter. So I was thinking, well, the only other main Mario character who isn't in Smash, as a character, is Toad. But then they put in Piranha Plant, so it's safe to assume he's not coming into Smash Ultimate. But anyways, Toad would be a very item-based character, and a good representation of the Captain Toad games and Super Mario Bros. 2. He would be incredibly strong and fast, but his recovery wouldn't be too great. And he'd have the worst jump height in the game. Similar to Little Mac, but his aerials don't actually suck, just his jump height and recovery. And as for a moveset, he'd just use items from his games in Mario Bros. 2. And although he would use things from Captain Toad, I don't want him to not have a jump. I just want him to have a small one. I don't want Captain Toad in Smash, I just want Toad with Captain Toad references. I don't even know why I like Toad so much. I've liked him for a few years, and I still don't have a good reason for liking him. He's the best, he said it himself, and he's honestly the character that I want the most in Smash. It's unlikely he'll be a playable character because he's tied with Peach, so right now, all I can do is hope that he'll have a chance to shine in Smash one day. And that should be every character I want in Smash. Ultimately, this list doesn't matter all too much because Nintendo's just gonna add Goku and Steve, but it was fun to speculate. But with all that said, I hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, tell me what characters you want in Smash, and how you think they'd play in Smash. I haven't seen enough movesets for Sans and Banjo-Kazooie. But with all that said, see you in 10 years, everyone!